This week we join Michelle as she takes us back for another look at Normandy Farms campgrounds in Foxborough, Massachusetts. This campground is constantly ranked as one of the best campgrounds in the country, and we'll show you why. Later on Paws on Board, with spring and summer RV camping season here, Dr. Fitz once again explains to us what we should know about fleas and ticks. There's a lot more to know than just removing that tick, as we'll learn. It's week number 4, and we'll join Mark and Dawn Polk from RV Education 101 as they continue with building their ultimate 4x4 Dodge camper van. This week, all the wiring goes in for the solar system and lithium batteries, along with all the interior outlets and lights. These stories and more on this week's episode of RVing Today. Closed and Spanish captioning where available is sponsored by Forest River. Follow the river.
Hi, Michelle and Laurie, and we're here in Foxborough, Massachusetts to visit one of the top campgrounds in New England. Let's catch up with Masha Galvin of Normandy Farms Campground.
You came on a weekend that we're having a big rally, so there's lots of stuff going on out there, but I'm going to bump you back a little bit and tell you about the history of Normandy Farms. So our ancestors, we're currently on the 9th generation of Daniel's family. So we've not always been a campground. It was a farm, a working farm back in 1759 when we had, our ancestor came over from Normandy, France. He was...
Oh, hence the name.
Exactly, yep. So, and in fact, my grandfather's name is Norman Daniels. So a lot of people think Norman D is also for my grandfather. So it was kind of a little bit of both.
This place is huge. How many acres does it cover?
We have 100 acres.
100 acres?
Yes. So it started out with 53 acres, and over the course of years and years, we're going to be celebrating 260 years of ownership in 2021. Eventually the farming just kind of went by the wayside back in the 60s. My grandparents were avid campers and there wasn't one in the area. So he thought, well, we can just start a small campground, 25 sites. That's where the campground began. 1971 we opened with just the White House across the street. The pool that's in the backyard, that used to be our childhood pool when we were growing up, and that became the first pool of the park.
Welcome to Normandy Farms.
So this is our registration center, and we do have a gift store, and this is where folks check in. There's a wide variety of items here anything that you need basically when you're camping, sweatshirts, bathing suits, things like that, as well as the grocery items.
Your level of technology is impressive, which it has to be because you've got a big operation here. The registration process, you can actually get your parking passes and do that all, and just go right on through.
Exactly. So we've made it automated so that you can, and it's not that we don't want to talk to you, because we do, but we want to speed up your vacation. So you can make reservation online when you pay in full. Just before your check-in day, you'll receive an email confirmation with your car pass barcode. You can go right to the gate and pick up your wristbands for the kids and go right to your site. We've got 400 campsites. It grew steadily because my father was in the construction and pool business on the side. So it was always family and friends and cousins building. It was on, weekends, and so it always worked from the family. We would just, we kind of grew small, and that we still do. You'll find my dad in the ditch laying electric lines, and he's in his 70s, and that's where he wants to be. But it's the passion that started the business, and it's the passion that he still carries through that has kind of, just morphed into just a nice place to go to spend some time.
One thing I noticed when we checked in, which was, I've never heard it before, we were told the water pressure at your sites it's good water pressure, so make sure you have a water regulator.
Right.
That's really great advice.
80 to 100 pound water pressure, you get a great hot shower, lots of pressure, but you have to be careful at the RV.
But it's true, in new RVers, we didn't have a water regulator at first. We did it.
Yeah.
They should build those things into the RVs.
They should. We are so centrally located to Boston, Cape Cod, Plymouth, Providence. We're sort of right in the middle. So you could park here for a week and go off into Boston, take the T, which is close by. You could drive down to the Cape. So it really is a nice central location. If you didn't even want to go that far, we've got Gillette Stadium and the New England Patriots that are just 4 miles up the street. But you know, we've got the Rentham outlets that are close by, and we have Plain Ridge Casino. So you don't really have to go very far. You can just come and camp out.
And if you don't want to leave the campground,
You don't
you
have
have
to.
4 pools?
We do. We have 4 swimming pools. We've got a basketball court, 2 playgrounds, 2 softball fields, volleyball, horseshoes, bocce. I could go on and on. We've
Hot
got
tub and sauna.
hot tub and sauna, correct. A fitness center. The heated pools, 2 of them are heated. So we have the outdoor heated pool and we've got the indoor heated pool. That's our recreation lodge. So that's where we have all our activities. It's the main hub of the park. So we'll have ice cream social like we'll have later on this afternoon. We'll have dances, anything that would go on inside where we can gather a group of people, that's where we go. We have the adult loft if you want to get away from your kids and enjoy some adult time, and the kids loft is on the opposite sides. We have got the best team members. Topped 140 this season, but we really do value guest service. If you don't have your own RV and you'd like to still come camping, we have cabins, we have yurts, we have safari tents, and we have pop-ups. So you can have a different experience, whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for the glamping experience, go for the cabin and yurt because it is a hotel room inside. Air conditioning, heat, fireplace, bathroom, everything that you would have. Step outside and you can have your campfire, so it's perfect. But you know, I do have a secret I want to let you know on.
Oh, tell us.
Okay.
After the break, we'll find out Masha's secret.
When Thetford launched AquaChem, it didn't take long before it became the #1 selling holding tank treatment for over 50 years. Until now. Meet Aquamax, Thetford's new generation of holding tank products that works even better and are also campground friendly and environmentally safe. Looks like a new #1 is taking over. For more information, visit thetford.com. Want more RVing today? Then visit rvingtoday.tv. Besides our weekly show and extended segments, you'll find additional stories and videos along with insightful information on what's new and what's happening around the world in RVing. From luxury RVs to unique camper vans, and from RVing with pets to RVing with kids. You'll find it all and more in rvingtoday.tv.
I do have a secret I want to let you know on.
Oh, tell us.
Okay. So we are adding a new type of rental next year.
Oh.
Tiny houses.
Oh!
Yes. Yes. So we're going to be adding 1, maybe 2 tiny houses to our fleet of rentals for 2020. So if our family wants to come in and experience a tiny house, then we have that experience for them too.
Oh, that sounds like great fun.
Yeah.
Really. Speaking of getting around, you have a new way to get around, don't you?
We do. We've started renting some golf carts. It makes the ease of cars a little bit less, and some of the guests then can see more of the park if they have some physical limitations and they'd like to see, drive the 100 acres and see more of the park, then it makes it easier for them.
And you have a huge dog park.
We do. 2-acre dog park. We are very pet friendly here.
Tell me about the charity.
The Jimmy Fund, yes. So back in 1983, my mother Doris had, when the campground was really starting, the recreation was really starting to boom, chose the Jimmy Fund as to be our charity of choice. And so over the years, we've run events such as ice cream socials, all our Halloweens, the hay rides, the haunted houses, casino night, things like that. And all of the money that we generate, we donate to the Jimmy Fund. And we've raised over $380,000 that we've donated. Wristbands are for children ages 3 to 17, and they need them to be able to participate in any of the activities, the bike park, or to go swimming in the pools. So we have ceramics under the tent, and that is a weekend activity. A guest can go up and choose a ceramic piece and paint under there. Under that same tent, we have our Camper's Kitchen, which is right next door. That's our open air snack bar. And they have fantastic food. They smoke meat daily, so that you've got the brisket and the ribs. You can smell it throughout the campground. You can get just ice cream sundaes and fried dough, pretty much any breakfast, lunch, dinner item, or any camping item that you'd want. A lot of the children enjoy bicycle riding in the park, But then there's also cars. So we made a bike park out in the back of the park where the kids can ride jumps, go around the track. It's agility. We do have a bike park ranger out there, so we do make sure that they're wearing a helmet and they're being safe. We've got our 18-hole disc golf course out there as well.
Oh.
We have a lot of activities. For instance, coming up this fall, we have our Thanksgiving dinner. Then we have Santa come in at the end, and he'll sit down with the children and get their wish list. Every weekend is themed. We have superhero weekend in the summer. We have chocolate sweets weekend. We have wellness weekend where we'll have yoga, tai chi. We've got spirit weekend. Every weekend is. You can come and pick and choose every weekend, and there will be something entertaining and different. We close December 1st.
Oh,
yeah, so
that's good.
It is.
Many campgrounds in New England close Columbus Day weekend.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, and we still keep going. We've got food truck weekend, Thanksgiving, Halloween. We have 3 Halloween weekends in October. So we just keep chugging. And it's beautiful when it's snowing and you've got the fire going here. Really cozy. This time of year especially, we'll get folks traveling across country that want to see the leaves and the foliage and things like that. It's absolutely beautiful.
And the leaves don't really turn until right after Columbus Day weekend. So the fact that you're open gives them that opportunity to really see it at peak.
Oh, and we have some beautiful foliage around the trees too.
Thank you so much, Masha.
You're welcome. I don't know what else I could say, but I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, this is just, we really appreciate
And my hands are
it.
cold. I need to warm them up by the fire.
Beautiful, beautiful fire.
Nice fall day.
It is. We're going to have to check out your sweatshirts.
For more information on Normandy Farms, visit their website at normandyfarms.com. From off-the-road adventure camping to luxurious full-time RVing and everything in between, Forest River has the RV to fit your needs, budget, and outdoor lifestyle. To see our full line of trailers and motorhomes, visit forestriverinc.com. Forest River. Begin the journey. At Norcol, we realize that some of your favorite RV destinations are off the grid. And Norcol refrigerators are uniquely designed with that RV experience in mind. We call it Freedom Unplugged. To learn more about our Norcol RV refrigerator line or to find a dealer near you, visit our website at norcol.com.
Welcome to Rollin' on TV's Paws on Board. I'm Dr. Fitz, and this is Theo. Today I'm going to be talking about tick prevention. I'm going to be addressing what ticks are, why we worry about them, and what you can do about it. Yeah, bud. First, ticks are 8-legged parasites that can bite both our pets and us. Depending on the stage of their life cycle, they can be different sizes, some even about the size of the head of a pin. This can make them extremely difficult to find within our pet's fur. There are different species of ticks depending on what area of the country that you're in. Younger ticks tend to feed on small wildlife like mice and other rodents, but eventually will feed on larger animals such as deer, dogs, and people. Ticks are commonly found in wooded areas, tall grass, and brush. But you can also find them in your own backyard. We primarily worry about ticks because they can carry bacteria that can make you sick. Many of the bacteria can cause acute short-term illness, but they can also cause longer-term chronic illness as well. Some of the diseases you might have heard of, like Lyme disease. There's others like Rocky Mountain spotted fever, anaplasmosis, and ehrlichiosis, among others. These diseases spread often depend on what type of the country that you're in and what type of tick is actually biting. The best thing that you can do for your pet is to keep them on tick prevention. Preventative products work to kill the ticks when they bite, which reduces the likelihood that they'll spread disease over time. There are different options for preventative products. There's chewable medications, which are usually nice and tasty, topical medications, which you can apply a small amount of liquid to the back of your pet's neck, or there's flea and tick collars. There are pros and cons to each type of medication and prevention. My recommendation is to talk to your primary care veterinarian about which product would be best for your pet based on the area of the country that you're in and your lifestyle. Most products on the market last for about 1 month. There are several products that last for about 3 months, and then collars last a bit longer. Most products can be purchased through your veterinarian or with a prescription. The primary concern is to make sure that your pet is protected for the entire length of time that you'll be on vacation. So if your pet's going to be due for a dose while you're on your trip, make sure you bring the dose with you so that your pet's covered. Most veterinarians recommend year-round treatment for ticks. In Michigan, with our variable weather, I've pulled ticks off pets in early March, and often several. So ticks can be active in all sorts of weather. Even if your pet is on prevention, you still may see a tick on them. If you notice a tick, the best thing that you can do is remove it. Daily checks of you and your pet can be helpful in early tick removal. Make sure to check between your dog's toes, in and around the ears, and everywhere on the face. So when you check the feet, you can lift their feet and check between their toes. Make sure you look between all the hair, and then flip it over and look between the paw pads as well. Ticks like to hide in places that are not easy to reach. So the tools that you'll need for the job include tweezers, or there's commercially available tick remover tools, and antiseptic wipes. To remove the tick, you'll part the fur to find the tick and grasp it as close to the skin as possible. You don't want to squeeze too hard and actually crush the tick. You'll pull away from the skin with gentle pressure. Again, our goal is to remove the entire tick, including the mouth parts that have actually bitten your pet. Once the tick's removed, you'll take your antiseptic wipes, wipe the area, and then wash your hands. If the mouth parts are left in the skin, you should monitor the site for signs of infection, so make sure you're checking it at least once a day. What you can do after removal is then dispose of the tick in a sealed plastic bag in the trash. If you are interested in what type of tick has bitten and what diseases it might carry, some states actually have a tick submission program, so you can check on your state website for more information. Ultimately, the easiest way to prevent a tick bite and the diseases they may carry is prevention, so keep your pet up to date and travel safely. Tune in next time for more pet health information. I'm Dr. Fitz. This is Theo. Thanks for watching Paws on Board.
Want more RVing today? Then visit RVingtoday.tv. Besides our weekly show and extended segments, you'll find additional stories and videos along with insightful information on what's new and what's happening around the world in RVing. From luxury RVs to unique camper vans, and from RVing with pets to RVing with kids. You'll find it all and more in RVingtoday.tv. When Bedford launched AquaChem, it didn't take long before it became the #1 selling holding tank treatment for over 50 years. Until now. Meet AquaMax, Bedford's new generation of holding tank products that works even better and are also campground friendly and environmentally safe. Looks like a new #1 is taking over. For more information, visit Thetford.com.
Welcome back to part 4 of our Ram Camp project. Before we can start building out the interior of the van, I need to wire the power center, install 2 inverters, the lithium battery, and finish the solar installation. That's a lot of wiring, so we better get busy. We are starting with the power center. That means we are connecting all of our 12 volt and 120 volt loads to the power center, and we will connect our shore power cord to the power center after we install the power inlet in the van. This is our power inlet. It's the part that our 120 volt detachable power cord plugs into when the van is plugged into electricity. Once installed, it will connect to the inverter and then go out to our WIFCO power center. The first step is deciding where to mount the inlet on the van. I prefer to keep the wiring runs as short as possible, so it would make sense to mount it at the rear corner of the van. Now we can cut the opening. Mark the outline where you want to cut the inlet. Check that nothing on the inside is in the way. Use a hole saw if you have one large enough, or you can drill a hole large enough to get a jigsaw blade through and carefully cut the opening. Before we mount the inlet, we are attaching our wiring that goes to the inverter. Follow the instructions to make proper wire connections. It's important that you torque the screws to 20 inch-pounds. place the inlet in the hole, align it, and mark the mounting holes. Drill small pilot holes and mount the inlet on the van.
We wanted to have several options for electrical power in the van based on different camping scenarios. If we have access to electricity, we can plug in and use the power source. Now, for boondocking and the sun is plentiful, we have 2 solar panels, an inverter, and a lithium battery. If we are boondocking and the sun is not available for a day or two, we have a 3,200 watt quiet generator. Now that sounds like lots of wiring, so somebody better get busy.
Now the wiring can begin. We'll start at the power center, then our lithium battery, then the inverter and the charge controller. I mentioned in a previous episode our WIFCO 8900 AD power center has the patent pending auto detect technology. This new microprocessor recognizes what type of battery is used in the system and automatically adjusts the charging profile to match the battery type. That is a great feature, especially with our 250 amp hour lithium battery by GoPower. Let's start wiring things right now. Caution: prior to doing any wiring, make sure no power source is turned on and remove all jewelry. The DC fuse board has spaces for 11 DC fuses, and there are a total of 10 AC breaker slots if you use duplex breakers. You need to know the load on every circuit so you know what size fuse or breaker to use. I made a list of what we are using in the van with load requirements so I know how to size the fuses and breakers. We have our power inlet and cable installed so we can start the wiring by connecting the power cord to the inverter and then go out to the 30 amp breaker in the power center. Then connect the black hot wire to the breaker, the white neutral wire to the neutral terminal, and the green ground wire to the ground terminal bar. Route all the branch circuits the same way and make the hot, neutral, and ground connections the same way. Now route an 8 gauge or larger green or bare wire through the hole next to the ground bar and connect it to the negative post. The opposite end goes to the vehicle chassis ground. All the ground connections are extremely important, so make sure you use the proper gauge wire and that the connections are secure.
Here's an RV 101 pro tip. Make sure you label the breakers and the fuses in the proper order for future reference.
It's important you follow the torque specifications in the instructions. If the screws are too loose, you can have a poor connection, and if they're over tightened, it can damage or break wires. Torque the screws to the proper torque in inch-pounds. Now we can start wiring the 12-volt fuse side of the power center. Make sure the battery is disconnected prior to starting the DC wiring and remove any jewelry. Connect the heavy wire, red, coming from the battery to the positive lug located directly below the reverse polarity fuses. I have my list of DC loads with the fuse sizes I need. These are the output screw terminal connections. Just strip off about 1/4 inch of insulation from the load wire and insert it into the screw terminal. Tighten the terminal to the torque specified in the instructions. Connect the remainder of the DC load wires the same way. The last step on the 12-volt side is to install a separate bus bar in a location behind the converter. We need a minimum of 8 gauge wire to go from the negative lug on the top left of the DC fuse board to this bus bar. Now connect the battery negative wire to this bus bar along with the negative DC load wires. Then run a wire from the bus bar to a chassis ground. Now I can install most of our light fixtures, the USBs, the GFCI, the water pump switch, AC heater kit, and the 120 volt outlets.
For additional expanded video on this custom 4x4 camper van build, visit our website at rvingtoday.tv. You can watch the full uncut version of many of these stories along with other additional videos, stories, and news on our website at rvingtoday.tv. This has been another fun production.